at the end you have 4 years in all, don't you? So in 4 years' time, what will a successful Network Plus result look like?
We'll have a roadmap which will be directed towards the Economic and Social Research Council, which will point out perhaps one or two, perhaps more, I can't prejudge, future directions of research that we think are genuinely exciting and hold a real possibility to make a step change in macroeconomics and understanding the macroeconomy. That may be through looking at the institutions or the subject itself, that the Research Council can then take and think, well, how can we build upon this, perhaps in future research calls, in driving future funding in a way that achieves its ultimate goal of transforming macroeconomics back into a real-world social science designed to look at real-world macroeconomic challenges. Lord knows there's enough of them around as we look around the world, and in our small way, we're trying to bring in some ideas to try and look at and address some of those questions. So that's for me what success would look like, that we've made some steps and some progress towards that. Prior to handing over that roadmap to the Research Council, we will be going round the main universities and talking to people about what we found, what we thought was most interesting, and really not only testing what we think the roadmap is, but also showing people what has been done, who are the interesting people, and so trying to achieve a degree of continuity in those research hubs and those research ideas after the end of the 4 years.
Yes, because it's sort of interesting. You could come up with a suite of saying you should do some more research in here or more research there, but in a way, one of the things you said early on, that there had been a monoculture, and maybe that suggests the structure of how macroeconomics has been done, or the relationships or the disciplinary boundaries and so on are problems, as well as the actual research topic. So what within your remit can you say about that sort of institutional question?
Well, that's very important, and thank you for reminding me of that. So our second research hub, is slightly different to all of the others, and we always knew that it would be slightly different. And that is because it looks at those economic institutions, such as academia and policy-making institutions, and asks, what is it about the perpetuation of economic ethos or these silos of understanding of what macroeconomics is? Is there a problem there? And again, of course, we will approach this in an open mind. We've called this hub, Do We Have Confidence in Our Economic Institutions? So it's going to look at the main policy-making ones, but also academia. What happens there? Why is it like this? People have suggested things such as the research excellence framework, perhaps leads to more conservative research agendas. People have asked about the dominance of certain universities in terms of the main research publications, and so on and so forth. But there are also wider issues such as the networks between some of these universities and the policy-making institutions and so on. So that also is going to be something we're going to put under the spotlight. And it is a slightly different hub, which I think you're exactly right. We have to start asking ourselves, what are there things that are blocking some of these innovations that need to be made in order to respond to how the world evolves? So that is going to be specifically something that we look at and will be part of course, the final roadmap.
So that could, in a way, be some of the more dramatic and controversial findings of this centre. You know?
Well, the beauty of the research project of having some independent-minded people on the management committee, but also the advisory group, but also the tradition of the National Institute, is we hope that we will not only be ambitious, but feel free to ask some difficult questions and to open these things up for debate. Of course, there's a limit to what we can achieve. There's only so much funding, and we're asking a lot of people to contribute a lot of time, a lot of which is pro bono. So, but the intention, the complete intention, is to be as open and as thorough and ambitious as possible in asking these questions of what about macroeconomics and how it's taught and researched, how it's practiced in these institutions, but also what else can we learn from other social and physical sciences, once again, and only because it's to address the real world, because we feel there's enough challenges out there. That is what macroeconomics is fundamentally about. It might be in a very rarefied form, but we have to keep this focus on. This is about the real world and addressing some of the challenges. We don't have a single answer for them, but there are enough challenges out there that we have to start turning our attention to.
Thank you very much, Angus.
Thank you.